Today we're going to learn about a coding structure called a switch. The switch program, switch, can be used instead of an if-else. It uses only specific data types. It can use a byte, which we don't use in this class, a short, which we don't use in this class, a char, a character, so we can use a character. Here's a hint. When we have to modify our average grades for loop, you're going to make a switch using character. Or an int. These are all primitive data types. It also works with a string class, so you could use strings inside of it. And it also uses wrapper class data types: character, byte, short, and integer. Notice that the decimal and long, which we don't use, is not used. All right, so let's look at the structure. So line 17. The switch is looking for a particular data type that is specified. In the example, we're going to use integers. So in there, that data type right here, this data type, line 17, this is going to be a variable of a specific data type. In our example below, it's going to be an integer. So if that integer was a 1, a 2, or a 3, or a 4, down here in case 1, this would be a 1. If this was true, it would do this line, then it would do this line, and because there is a break, it would kick out. Just like an if-else, when a certain if is reached, it kicks out. If this was missing, then it would drop down and it would do case 2 also. Now, if none of the cases, if both this case and this case did not match, it would default to the default. And you can, if you want to, put code down here. Maybe something like system.out.print. Your choice was not correct, or choose again, or something like that. The break makes it kick out. Now, once it reaches, because everything is top down in a switch, once it reaches default, you really don't need this break, because after the break, it kicks out of the switch. But just for structure and symmetry, I always like to leave that break in there. All right, so now let's look at our program. We are going to be using the scanner, and we're going to be using random. So we have to import those two classes. The class header, public class switch. Now we need some objects from those two classes that we imported. We use scan, and we're going to use a random number. Our two variables are choice, what is it, integer, and an answer, because we're going to ask the user, do you want it to occur over and again, over again, over again? So they have to say yes or no. So our constructor, choice, is initiated at 0, and answer is yes. This ensures that the while loop that we're going to use is entered at least once. If answer was not instantiated, it would be null, and the while loop would not run. It would skip over it and do whatever it is below it. All right, so here is our program. We have a main method in this program. So this is we're going to develop a if-else. All right, this is an if-else. I just put a little line in to show you that this part of the answers are just if else. And our while loop is checking to see if answer is equal to yes. Now remember, up on line 52, we instantiated it to yes. So the while loop will be true, and it'll enter the while loop. So in the while loop, we have a couple jokes. I don't know if anybody has a Google Home. I have a Google Home in my house, and my grandkids love to ask for jokes. So I asked Google Home a whole bunch of times for some jokes, and I wrote down the answers. So here are all the answers to my if, else, if in my Google Home. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this to show you what's happening. Hey Google, tell me a joke. Why did the school kids eat their homework? Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake. All right, then would you like another joke? You could say yes or no. So I'm going to say yes. All right. What did the right eye say to the left eye? Between you and me, there's something that smells. All right, do you want another joke? I'm going to say no. And there's a switch, but nothing kicks out of the switch because that's what we're going to learn today. So now it's stuck. We have to end it. We're going to permanently end it. And then we're going to write the switch to show you what to do switch. All right. All right, so we're going to go down here. So here's the while loop. We have to reset our answer to yes to make sure that the loop is entered. Got to make sure the loop is entered at least once. On line 94, we have the starred line with a switch in it to differentiate between the two programs. And what we're going to do is here, we're going to write our switch. All right? Switch. And here is going to be our choice. A switch has an open and close squiggle brackets, end, switch. Oop, gotta spell switch right. And then we do our choices. Choice. No, cases, or sorry, cases. Case. Now we're going to do numbers. Hold on. We have to do a little homework here. Right here we have to repeat this. Okay, this is what we got to repeat. All right, because we're gonna do Hey Google. So I'm going to go, Hey Google, tell me a joke, and it's going to create a random number between 1 and 6 because we did a shift to the right. All right? So in this case, so let's say if it's 1. So you do case 1, the integer 1, because choice is an integer. Case 1. If that's true, if it is case 1, you're going to have executable lines of code. So in this case, we're going to go up and we're going to borrow case 1. And then, if we're done, we have to do a break. So case 1, break. And then we have our next choice, case 2, colon. And then we're going to go borrow case 2. And after the executable lines of code occur, we have to do a break. If we don't do a break, it's just going to keep going down and doing the next case. The break makes the switch kick out, just like the feature with an if-else. If an if is true, it does the executable lines of code under the if, and then it kicks out of the if-else. In this case, for a case, we have to have a break. Otherwise, without the break, it's going to tell every single joke and the answer. So now we have a case 3. And instead of typing all that, I'm going to go borrow case 3. Please don't forget the break. You need the break, all right? Case 4, colon, let's move this over. Let's go get case 4. Here's case 4. All right, and then our break. Then a case 5. Let's go get case 5. Borrow case 5. Now, we could do a case 6 because the random numbers are going to be between 1 and 6. But if they're not between 1 and 6, let's say the case is 6, but it enters the switch with a 6, but it can't find that case. Well, then it will do the default. Okay, sorry, the phone rang, so I am going to do part 2 in just a moment.